All right, welcome to another episode of Finding the Seams. I'm Ric Bucher. That is Brendan Haywood, a hydrated Brendan Haywood. He is ready to go and showing off the microphone. Hey, you got to do what you got to do, but now that we're working with the real equipment, why not?
And I got a lot of flack in the beginning for my mic, so I'm here now. I'm here. Okay, I'm here.
People were paying attention and they were having issues, so they're glad to hear the dulcet tones of Brendan Haywood, clear and vibrant. Let's start with Chris Paul and the Los Angeles Clippers. We always start in LA one way or the other. For everybody who has been under a rock, the Los Angeles Clippers let go Chris Paul. This was supposed to be his swan song. He'd already announced that he was retiring at the end of the year. This was supposed to be a storybook ending, coming back, finishing it up with the Clippers. They decided that that was not in their plans. Let him go sort of in the middle of the night. And everybody is shocked that this happened. And it has come out in a variety of ways that he and Tyronn Lue, the head coach, were not talking. There was an incident in the locker room, supposedly, where fellas were together and the topic of load management came up, and Chris Paul looked at Kawhi Leonard and said, "You are the load." And that shocked everybody, and Kawhi walked out, and soon after, they decided that CP3 didn't need to be on the Clippers roster anymore. So I throw all that out to you, Brendan, and let's just start here. You know the personalities. You know everything about where the Clippers are and who Chris Paul is. How shocking is this to you that this transpired?
It's shocking because of the way it happened. It's shocking because Chris Paul just being the guy that he is, and this going down in the middle of the night. My phone, it was like 3 a.m. Chris Paul released. I'm like, is that right? That can't be right. And so it's just one of those things where it's unfortunate. And then when you think about how much he meant to this franchise, like, listen, those Chris Paul teams with Lob City were special, man. They were fun, and you would have liked to seen him go out the right way. But I will say this. In life, we all have a script to read from. And you got to understand, when life hands you your script, it might not be the script that you want. It might not be the script from 15, 20 years ago. But you got to play your position. You got to read the script that was given to you at that point in time.
Yeah.
And Chris Paul was still reading off the all-star Chris Paul script when you needed to be reading off of the role player Chris Paul script. And the better you are, the more leeway you get. Chris Paul had probably said stuff like this in the past when he was an all-star and no one cared. When you're not playing, people care. You got to read from the script, and unfortunately, you got to act accordingly.
But that's why this doesn't surprise me at all. Because there's the commercial Chris Paul with Cliff Paul, the sort of lovable character, and the doe-eyed player on the court and all of that. There's always been a nasty to Chris Paul, both on and off the court. He's always stood on business in a very direct, no-nonsense way. And so when I look at the dynamics of a James Harden where he is in his career, and Kawhi Leonard being Sphinx who never says anything, and you never know whether he's going to be available or not, and people will read into that, and the Clippers struggling the way that they are, I'm really not surprised that Chris Paul would be trying to tell everybody what needs to change or what needs to happen, because that's always been Chris Paul. And so that there would be this friction and this conflict does not surprise me at all. And it doesn't even surprise me that Chris may not have read the script. May not.
Gotta read, Rick. You gotta read the script, though. You gotta read the script. You gotta read the room. Read the script.
Fair, you do, but how many guys haven't? And then they end up going out in a way. Allen Iverson, same thing in Memphis. Like, you know what? Probably best for AI if you come off the bench. Coming off the bench. That's not me. I'm AI. Like, it happens. It's happening right now with LeBron James, and LeBron James is
he don't like he don't like that. He don't like that new Hollywood script.
Boy, does
he don't like that
not.
new Hollywood script, do he?
You watched the Phoenix Suns game too, right? I saw that little clip of him in the corner yapping with the Suns, and they were trying to run a play, and Luka's looking over at the bench at JJ like, what do I do? JJ has to call timeout. And I thought, you know what, that's overblown. Somebody took a video clip. That's just an incident. And then I watched the game, and I was like, oh, no.
We don't want to go too far down this wormhole, but I saw it too.
There's a silent protest going on right now in a big way, right? We'll leave it there, right? But LeBron James and Chris Paul, I would say, are in a very similar place, right? Superstars who are trying to navigate this new role that they're being asked to play. The question for me is, do you think Chris knew that there was a possibility of this happening?
I'm not sure, but I will say this. When you are trying to give advice as a veteran and you are not playing, the tone in which you give your advice has to adjust. So my last year in Cleveland, I wasn't playing. And so when I was talking to certain guys, I remember talking to Mike Miller and James Jones. We were trying to talk to certain guys and get them to understand certain things. And we understood the tone we had to take because all of us weren't in the rotation. And you got to understand that if you come out here yelling and talking aggressive, and if I was talking like I was still Brendan Haywood that was starting for the Dallas Mavericks or starting for the Washington Wizards, I would have offended those dudes. They'd have been like, "Oh, gee, shut up. You're not even going to take your warm-up off today." And that's what I'm saying. Life handed me a script my last year. I didn't want it to be my last year, but I understood the assignment. I understood the script. Hey, when I'm talking to Dion Waiters, hey man, maybe you should try this. Now he might say no, but I'm gonna point it to him like that. Right. If I'm talking to Tristan Thompson, hey man, what about this? Hey, maybe you should try this. I'm not gonna be aggressive because I can't meet them dudes with aggression because the first thing they're gonna say is, dog, you ain't even playing.
Yeah.
And that is where Chris Paul is. You're not really playing like that. You're not really making an impact, and then you're still having the loudest voice in the room. It's unfortunate. I love Chris Paul. I see his parents all the time. I know his parents. They're great people. So I love the Paul family. But I do understand in this situation, he needed to adjust to where he was at this point in his career, and your tone has to adjust with it.
Yeah. I imagine that this has been an ongoing thing for him because look at how many different places he's been over the last couple of years. Like San Antonio, you could say he had a positive effect there, but we both know that what happens is there's a certain point where what you're able to do as a player and the load that you are in terms of what people have to put up with or how pleasant you are just to be around. Because you guys are around each other more than you're around your families. Right. And when you get somebody who isn't really contributing in a basketball sense and everybody's kind of tired of their act in every other way, teams make the decision, is it really worth it? At least good teams do, right? Here's my question with the Clippers, though. Because of their reputation and because of how the Blake Griffin thing wound up, where 1 minute they're saying, hey, you're our guy, and the next minute they're shipping him to Detroit. How much does this Chris Paul situation impact the perspective of players on the Clippers franchise, and does it factor in any way in their ability to get free agents?
Doesn't factor in their ability at all. First and foremost, as you've heard people sound off about Chris Paul, some positive and some negative, it's a mixed bag on whether some people like him and some people don't. So it's not like this is someone that's super beloved by the league like Steph Curry. Like everybody loves Steph. Hey, there's a show. Everybody hates Chris, and he's starring in it. And so I don't think that the league is going to be like, oh, man, I ain't going to L.A. I saw how they did Chris Paul. First and foremost, they're going to want to get their money. Yeah. You brought up Blake Griffin. Did that stop Kawhi and Paul George from going to L.A.? Nah, they knew how they did Blake Griffin, but they were like, nah, this is where we can get the most money. This is where we think we can get the most wins. We think we can win a championship here. It's still L.A. You're in that market. You're in that city with the bright lights. And then more importantly, a lot of times if you feel like you can do it for the Clippers, it'll probably mean more in the history than doing it for the Lakers. So, what I mean by that is if Luka wins a championship for the Lakers, that'll be great. He'll
Yeah.
be in a
Ain't enough.
long line of champions.
Yep.
Now think about what Dirk did for Dallas. He's Mr. Dallas. Ain't been but one championship. You know what I'm saying? So there's that part of it too. Like, yo, we go to LA, we can kind of carve out our own sense of what it is to be great within the organization. Instead of just being one of many, we can be one of one. So I think all that goes into play when guys are making their decision, especially great players. And I don't think this Chris Paul thing is going to move the needle because he's not like that naturally beloved guy. Some guys like him, some guys don't. And when you got that mixed bag, it's like, all right, cool. Like it is what it is.
Do you think he will end up going any place else this season to finish it up at least the way he had hoped?
I'm not sure, man. Like, I think Chris be really good on TV. I think that's what he needs to focus on. He was obviously going to retire anyway. Go home, be around the fam. You're probably not going to get picked up by a championship level team.
Yeah.
That's the only thing you're really chasing. You have all the money, you have all the fame, you're going to be a Hall of Famer. So if I'm Chris Paul, I'm going to go home, be around my family, my kids, and spend as much time as I can. And I'm going to focus on my next step, whether that's starting a podcast, whether that is going on TV. Like if Chris Paul said he wanted to go on NBC or Amazon, they fire somebody immediately to put Chris Paul on. So I think that he's very articulate. I think that's the next step for him, in my opinion. I think he could be great in this space.
Yep. Here's my question. You said championship caliber team. Considering how things ended with the Clippers and what everybody in the league knows about Chris, at this point, can he really help you? I don't know that there's a team out there that's going to jump out and sign him at this point.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there's a team out there where it makes sense because, like I said, if you're Chris Paul, there's no need for you to go to a rebuilding team or a team that's just okay. You need to be going to a championship level team. And if you're going to a championship level team, you have to start thinking to yourself, is it worth risking the culture? Because this guy is going to speak out. He's proven that. This guy's going to say he don't think the coaching staff is doing this. He don't think this player is doing this. He don't think the front office is doing this. Do we want that brought in? How is that going to mix in with our young guys, our star players? These are all the questions that they're going to be asking right now. And I don't know. I don't think anybody has the answer. And like I said, if I'm Chris, it might not have ended the way he wanted to, but he had a great career. It might be time to just focus on what's next.
I brought this up before. I'm going to bring it up again.
Okay.
There is a team out there that he spent time with that.
They don't need him. OKC, they don't need him.
I'm not saying OKC.
Oh, okay.
Rockets.
No.
Why not?
Because he didn't get along with Ty, and Ty just kind of stopped speaking to him. Ime might fight him. I'm just letting you know. Ime is the real deal. Like,
but maybe Ime's cut from the same cloth. Maybe the birds of a feather. Maybe they'll appreciate each other.
Nah, man. That's a bad mix.
Okay.
Like I said, T. Lou's just like, yo, I'm just going to ignore this dude. Ime ain't going to ignore him. It could get ugly. Like, nah. Like, no, nah. Houston Rockets, it ain't going to work. That ain't for him.
All right. I wasn't going to go to this next, but because you brought it up about legacy and what winning a championship with one franchise is different than winning just one championship with franchises that have multiples. Giannis Antetokounmpo with the Milwaukee Bucks. There seems to be some confusion now because we had Doc Rivers come out. Unless it was AI, there was a clip of Doc Rivers saying that Giannis has never asked for a trade and that this has come up over and over again and seemed to suggest that still is not looking to leave. And we've had reports that Giannis and his agent have quietly talked to the Milwaukee Bucks about going elsewhere, that there was already some conversation last summer. And so does it make sense for Giannis to leave Milwaukee, considering he's won a championship there? I guess the question I have is there a lesson to be learned from Damian Lillard?
Because he's already won a championship.
Okay.
He's not chasing any. Giannis doesn't have anything left to prove. He just has more to gain. Like, he won a championship in Milwaukee. It's very hard to do. Everybody else was teaming up. He stayed in Milwaukee. Him and Chris Middleton, they did that. They were losing in that series. They came back. Hadn't had a championship in Milwaukee since Oscar Robertson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. They
Right.
did that. If Giannis never wins another championship, it doesn't matter to a certain degree. But if he wants to go out there and put him in the best position possible, I don't mind if he gets traded. If he says, "Hey man, I want to get traded to the Spurs or somewhere like that, or OKC, and be a 2, 3, 4 time champion possibly," I think he deserves that. Like, yo, he did it in Milwaukee. They're going nowhere fast right now with this roster. Honestly, a reset would actually help both of them. I think it would help Giannis win another championship. I would think it would help Milwaukee build for the future. Get you some young players back, a ton of draft picks, start over, and figure out how you're going to redo it. Because right now, they're putting a Band-Aid on a wound that needs stitches. They tried the Dame Lillard thing. It didn't work. They've moved on from Dame. The team they have now is okay, but though none of us think they're going to make any noise or win a championship. So if Giannis wants to leave and go somewhere that helps his opportunity, I'm all for it.
Isn't there still a value in spending your entire career with one franchise? And the possibility that because of where he is at his age, and yeah, it may take a year or two for them to get back into a position where they're competing in the Eastern Conference. But as soft as the Eastern Conference is, I don't know. I mean, I love Detroit. I love what Orlando has. I think that they have potential, but it's not like they've proven that they're going to be there definitively. There's a lot to still be worked out with those franchises. Like if Giannis stays in Milwaukee and he happens to win another championship, then he is gilded in a way that winning another championship with OKC or any place else, I just don't see it doing the same thing for his legacy.
I don't see how they could win another championship with Milwaukee because he needs that secondary option. Every Batman needs a Robin. Where are they going to find his at? He's going to be good enough to where you're not drafting him.
They found it before by cobbling together Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday. So
yeah. And listen, sometimes lightning strikes. Don't mean it's going to strike twice.
Yeah.
Like getting Chris Middleton to go from G League player to All-Star. Teams can do it. That doesn't mean that's the norm.
No, understood.
like very rarely, like Chris Middleton, people forget he started out playing G League basketball.
Yes.
Very rarely do you go from the G League to starter to All-Star, making clutch buckets very rarely is that the road taken. You know what I'm saying? Trying to do that again is going to be incredibly hard. And at the end of the day, I think it speaks to a bigger dilemma. Should Giannis leave? This is a business. This isn't AAU. This is a business. He should do whatever is best for Giannis' brand.
If it was AAU, he would have already left.
For sure. But he should do whatever is best for Giannis' brand. Why is it when a player puts himself in the best position to be successful by making certain moves and wins championships, we try to downgrade the championship? Yeah. But hold on. If a GM makes moves to help a player win a championship, we celebrate it. Like if he were to be traded by Milwaukee and it wasn't his call, he just got traded in the middle of the night the same way Chris Paul got released in the middle of the night, and he ended up winning, we'd say, oh, it's a great move. But if a player puts himself in position, we say, oh, they cheating. They took the easy route.
They took the easy way, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, why is it that when franchises build monster teams, it's great? When a player puts himself in position, it's frowned upon. It's, ooh, Kevin Durant, how dare you? This is like, it's one of those weird things to me. And I'm just like, you know what, man? This is a business. Too many fans lose sight of that. Giannis is the CEO of Giannis Antetokounmpo Enterprises. He should do whatever is best for that enterprise because he's responsible for his name only.
No, I agree with that. And I'm speaking to this with that in mind. And this is the thing I have with social media and with all of the social media streams that we have now is I just wonder, like the ability for anyone to critique anyone else and for it to go viral is now huge. Fans are always going to say, oh, the media and people want our guys to leave because they want to be in LA and New York and they just have a prejudice against small markets. And that's why they're always trying to convince our guys to leave. It's not even the guy wants to leave. It's that the media and people on the outside are trying to get them to leave. I think there's a lot of noise out there that's not necessarily a lot of people thinking the same way. This is my reason for bringing it up is because I am looking at what is best for Giannis and the brand Giannis Antetokounmpo. And because there is this tainted perspective of what changing teams in pursuit of winning championships says or is suggested says about an individual, would he be better served as a brand to show the loyalty to Milwaukee and say, you know what, I'm going to stick it out. I'm going to try to get us another one. Because I think that Damian Lillard hurt his brand by leaving Portland, by taking the approach that he did. And yes, he was traded. What's that?
Portland didn't want him there. They wanted to hit the reset button.
They wanted to hit the reset button in part because of how Damian was approaching things. I mean, he had a hand in them deciding, let's turn the page because our guy is no longer invested in being here.
Like I said, I'll say this. I don't think a player wanting to put himself in the best position to win a championship should ever be viewed as a negative thing. It shouldn't. First and foremost, players are judged on championships. Like, I'll give you an example. Jokic has one championship. He wins one more, it's going to be a different conversation that we're having. Well, instead of it being, man, Jokic is incredible, the conversation is he top 10 all time? You're judged by these championships.
Sure.
So you're judged by these championships, so why shouldn't you put yourself in the best possible position to win a championship? I hate where we're at. I hate the narratives that players shouldn't put themselves in the best position to win championships. They should just sit there and wait for a GM to do it for them. Well, what if you can put yourself in the best position to win? Like, how put like this right here. And I don't want no smoke from KD. KD, I love you. Don't want no smoke. I'm just throwing out a hypothetical.
Yeah.
How would we view KD's career, if he never won a championship? He got the two from joining a very good team. And he was the best player on said team, won 2 MVPs.
But here's the better question. If he had stayed in Oklahoma City and he had won one championship there, would his legacy be greater than having gone to Golden State and won 2? That's the question.
Unfortunately, for the way fans view the game, winning one championship in OKC would have been stronger. It's kind of like Dirk's one championship is looked at way differently than Kevin Durant's 2.
That's right.
And so, like, and I know that, but I hate that.
Okay.
I just hate the fact that fans don't like when athletes empower themselves. I don't know why. I don't know why we don't like that. It's the weirdest thing. It's the weirdest thing to me. It's like I said, hey, if Danny Ainge comes together and he puts Paul Pierce and Ray Allen and Kevin Garnett all on the same team, it's the greatest thing in the world. LeBron James comes out there with Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, they orchestrated, come together, and they cheat in the game. Why?
Yeah.
Why?
I'll tell you why. Because fans want to believe that their favorite players are as devoted to them and their team as they are to that player. And this is what I think the average fan doesn't understand, which you made the point. This is a business for a player. This is like when I can't play anymore, and saw it with Klay Thompson at the end in Golden State, and you're seeing it with Dallas now. When I can't play anymore, are you still going to love me? Or do you just love me while I'm great and I can bring glory to the team that you love? That's where I think fans are unrealistic, that players have to look out for themselves because they realize that love that the fans have for them, maybe there are a few fans out there that are going to appreciate them no matter what, but the majority of fans, once a guy can't play, they're like, oh, get that bum out of here. But when the guy isn't a bum and he says, you know what, I need to get up out of here, then it's, oh, you've betrayed me. So there is a certain amount of hypocrisy with fans.
That's the perfect word.
I agree with you there.
There's a built-in hypocrisy.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. No,
way to sum it up perfect, Rick. See, that's why I mess with you.
So here's the thing. And again, this leads us right into our next subject, which is we got a number of stars out there that are supposedly available Ja Morant, Trae Young, Zion Williamson. I'm forgetting one. There's another one. LaMelo Ball. I always forget LaMelo Ball just because I think
the rest of the league, the rest of the league forgets too. The rest of the league forgets too.
He's just a showman. Like, he's just a showman. He's a great show. He's hilarious to watch, but like, why would anybody trade for him in any situation? If I'm the Sacramento Kings right now, if I'm the Washington Wizards, why would I trade for LaMelo Ball? Tell me if I'm missing something.
Well,
I'm not. I know you don't want to say it that definitively. There's still the former player in you who are like, I can't hate on a guy that hard. I cannot hate one of my brothers. I can't hate on him that hard. But the reality is, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I'll say that I understand. I understand why a team would trade for LaMelo Ball, but it's only if they're It's only if they can get said player at a discount. Okay. You brought up the Washington Wizards. I call games for the Washington Wizards. If LaMelo Ball was on that team and they got him for a discounted price, not like 5, 6 first-round picks, he would immediately be the best shot creator on their team. He would immediately be somebody that could get down the lane and create shots for Alex Sarr. And Sarr's getting better. And so I see why a team would do it, because they want to take a chance on a star player at a discounted price. They want to get in there and they want to get what we like to call a distressed asset. And we've seen that happen plenty of times. Remember when Memphis went and got Zach Randolph because the Clippers didn't want him?
Yep. What
did Zach Randolph turn into for? Yep. That's what you're hoping you recreate. Sure. At that point, Zach Randolph's stock was low. People were feeling like this, that, and the third, some negative stench around him. He goes to Memphis and he becomes Mr. Grit and Grind along with Gasol and Conley. And they go on to make many playoff appearances and become a very good team. But they bought Zach Randolph for the low. Mm-hmm. And that is what you're trying to do if you're picking up one. If you're getting a Zion Williamson, you understand there's a lot that comes with it. I don't know if he's going to be in shape. I know he ain't going to play no defense. He ain't going to rebound, but he is truly unique. If I can get him for a low price, maybe this can help my franchise. Same thing with LaMelo Ball. Same thing even with Ja Morant to a certain degree, and Trae. I think Trae Young is the best of that crew. He's the most proven. Yep. He has won playoff series. He's been to the Eastern Conference Finals. He's been an all-star more than any of those guys. And his ability to see the floor is still top tier.
In terms of just pure talent, you put him ahead of Ja Morant.
No, pure talent? Nah, Ja Morant is so athletic.
Yeah.
But he probably comes with the most question mark.
Got you.
You know, it's like, hey, is he still the same player? Are the injuries taking its toll? What about the off-the-court distractions? What type of culture are you going to set? When you're away from the game, who are you hanging with? Because some of the people in Memphis that he's been known to be associated with are people that millionaire NBA players should not be associated with. These are killers. Like, what are you doing? You know what bothers me the most? And I saw this all throughout my career. It burns me up to see guys get into the NBA and want to adopt the I'm hood mentality. I'm like, people in the hood are fighting to get out. They'd love to be you. You get to the NBA and you want to be them.
And it's not it's not stay with the hood. It's not being true to where you came from.
It's people that ain't from
adopting it. Let's be clear on that.
I had a teammate, and so I'm not going to say his name, right? And so he was talking to me about, like, the hood in Chicago, and he was talking in front of the team. And I didn't want to embarrass said player, right? I'll tell you off air. You might actually even get it because I said Chicago. And I'm listening to him talk about how with the hood and everything else. And then I waited till everybody left. I said, hey, man, you played in the ACC, bro. I actually saw a story on you, man. They said you from the other side of Chicago, the suburbs, and you went to a private school and you live with both your parents. I said, when did you have enough time to be in the hood? My people from the hood. I said, oh, your people. Like, bro, this dude was not hood at all. And it was like, why are you trying to be that? You went to private school on the other side of Chicago. Why are you in this locker room telling people you from the trap? Why you from Cabrini Green? No, you're not. Stop. Like, I hate when dudes take on this false persona. Like, I be sitting there like, dog, you're from a private school, man. What are you doing?
So
Man,
why?
it's like 8 Mile. You Clarence. And
Yeah.
Clarence got some real good parents. You know, what are we doing?
So why do you think guys do that?
I'm not sure if it's the hip hop culture. I'm not sure if they're just trying to fit in or find a way to belong, because there's some guys in our locker room that actually come from that. But I see so many guys that ain't hood that get to the league and they want to adopt that culture. Why are you guys doing that? That's dumb.
You know what? I think there is, for whatever reason, there is a mindset in the NBA or among, and I won't even say NBA players, I think among hoopers, right? That if you came from nothing, if you have to get it out of the mud, who you are is more authentic. Because I've heard that, the knock on Steph Curry as well. Your dad was in the NBA. You came from a two-parent family. You had all the resources and all that.
You think that matter when he's knocking out them 3 balls in your face?
You know what I'm saying? Like, guys think that somehow what they are or who they are or what they've accomplished has more authenticity and meaning if they can give the impression that it was really tough. Like, they came up in a hard scrabble situation. And so you get guys. I mean, you didn't name a guy. I will name a guy.
We have the internet now. We know that you're lying.
Yeah, I know. More so than ever. But Chris Webber did the same thing.
I ain't gonna do that. I know. See, Webb, I ain't gonna touch that one. I'm gonna let you have
I'm
that.
just telling you. And look,
Brendan Haywood doesn't support this message. Go ahead, carry on. I'm not part of it, but carry on.
Yeah, go ahead. Walk out on that plank by yourself, Rick. I'm good. I'll be back here on the boat. I'll just be waving. Deuces. Look, I'm always going to keep it 100, man. I loved covering C-Webb, got to know him well. I also know that C-Webb was a chameleon in a lot of ways, and sometimes that can benefit you. And look, we all do that to a certain extent, right? Depending on who we're around, we'll try to fit in, and that's just human nature. It's just some of us take it a little bit too far. We start rewriting our history in order to make it fit. We agree. There's no such thing as an unmovable contract. I still think that all 3 of them, well, LaMelo, I'm not so sure.
You forgot Zion, too.
Of the 4, who do you see as still having the most value and could wind up someplace and maybe resume the track that they were on? Because all of them, on some level, were considered potential stars, if not stars in their own right already.
That's easy, Trae Young. It's easy, Trae Young. Trae Young comes with the least amount of baggage of this crew. So if you look at, you said LaMelo, some people don't think he's a serious basketball player. Well, we know Trae Young is a serious basketball player. When you look at Ja Morant, Trae Young doesn't always, he might not always be beloved by his teammates, but he ain't out here with the people that Ja's with. So you're not worried about that. Okay, all right, I can bring somebody in to be a leader. If I got Trae, I know I got to bring somebody in to be a leader because the team's not going to follow him. And the last guy is Zion. It's like, okay, I never know when he's going to pop into the season in shape or out of shape. Yeah. Like, they got people that think that Zion lost all the weight because he was on Ozempic. I don't know. He did lose a lot of weight very, very quickly. Mm-hmm. And when they asked him about it, he didn't have no nutrition tips. He was like, "Oh, I lost it doing football."
We did see some off-season videos. We usually see those when the guys go.
He said, "I lost it doing football workouts." I was like, "That's how you lost like 50 pounds?" All right, if that's what you're selling. But the point is this: Trae, out of this crew, is the most proven and has the least amount of baggage, I'll say. Yeah. You know, I understand there's some shortcomings from a defensive standpoint, but this guy is truly a playmaker. He is truly one of those guys that can determine what type of night it's going to be. I can go for 50 or I can go for 20 assists. He has one of the coldest floaters in the game. He has excellent vision, and he makes guys around him better on that court. because he can get guys lobs and things of that nature. His problem is he don't ever want to come up off the rock, and he don't defend, and he's not a leader. Those are three big things. But those are the three things that the negatives are, and you're thinking, okay, if I can change just one of those, he can help me win a championship.
Yeah. They can't make it work because of the contracts. You got to match the contracts. And I mentioned the Houston Rockets already once. I'm going to mention them again. I could see Trae Young going in there and put aside the impossibility of making it happen because of the contracts. Just from a basketball standpoint, I could see that being a place where he would fit, largely because he's not the number one guy now anymore. So how he's utilized, yeah, you can put the rock in his hands and he can play a role. But between Ime and the established pecking order, I could see that working for both sides.
Yeah, like I said, money-wise, I'm not sure how that works. But from a scheme fit, that's what Trae Young needs. He needs to go somewhere with a strong coach that's going to set the culture. Not because a lot of times you want your best player to set the culture, but in Houston, Ime sets the culture. So he needs to go somewhere with a strong coach that can set the culture. Like, hey, man, with Indiana Pacers, Rick Carlisle going to set the culture. You got to have a strong-minded coach there. And then you definitely need another star player to go along with him. Because it's like, the guys probably have proved they're not going to follow Trae. So they got another guy that's a star that they can kind of follow. And Trae can just get in there and do his thing because, he is super talented. Just when he went to Oklahoma, I was watching him in college, like, everybody was talking about his scoring, but I was like, you see, this guy's averaging like 10 assists as a freshman. His vision has always been, to me, his best attribute. He can get drop dimes like that. And
who was his coach at Oklahoma?
I forgot.
He coached in the NBA for a minute.
Was it Lon Kruger?
Yes.
Okay.
Lon Kruger. Austin Reeves and Trae Young are Lon Kruger disciples. They are products of Lon Kruger. If I had who was like Trae Young or Austin, like not great physical gifts, has some skill, high basketball IQ, I would put them with Lon Kruger because Lon Kruger taught both of those guys the pro game and how to play essentially the pick and roll. I mean, both of them are really, really gifted in being able to get where they want to on the floor and getting what they want. That's where I agree with you. This might be a weakness of mine that when I see a great talent like Ja, Zion, I put in a different category because he just never took his professional career. For all that's happened with Ja, I would still say that Ja has worked at his game. Like, he's added things to it. He's been ready to play. I don't put Zion in that category. I hate giving up on Ja because of that talent. And I just wonder if you took him out of Memphis and you put him with a Miami or a San Antonio, a strong organization that's going to demand a certain discipline, and you could somehow get through to him, hey, dude, your career's over if things don't change off the court. I hate giving up on what I still think Ja Morant is capable of being if you could just get rid of all of the sideshow.
Well, I agree with you. You don't want to give up on anybody that talented because you understand that. How old is he? 26?
27, I think. But
guys at that age are still in their prime. He didn't lose it. He's still fast. He's still quick. He still has that burst. He was playing great down the stretch last year, and he didn't just lose it in the summer. Right now, it's something bigger than basketball. But to your question, it's like, is the switch going to flip that, okay, I don't need to go out as much. I need to cut down on the amount of people that I hang with. I need to be choosy about who I hang with.
You mentioned Zach Randolph.
Yeah, exactly.
He's an example of a guy.
Yeah, exactly.
That switch flipped.
And to your point is this. The reason why you don't give up on Ja is the same reason why people are looking at the Dallas Mavericks crazy for giving up on Luka. Because now you see Luka in shape. Say what you want to about whether it's working with LeBron and Luka. Luka got the Lakers as the second best team in the Western Conference. He's averaging 35 and 9. We don't think this roster is over the top great, and they still winning games because the trade was the wake-up call. Oh, so y'all don't think I can do that? Y'all don't think I'm really like that? Okay. He took time, lost some weight over the summer as well, came back into the season. He's thriving. And a guy like Ja Morant, all he has to do is get back to doing what he does naturally, and that's
Yeah.
balling, and let the off the court distractions go.
This is the
And
one.
could a team like Miami make it work? Possibly. But
Yeah.
Miami Knights are also undefeated. So I don't know. It's a
Yeah.
catch-22 if we go to Miami. If
Yeah.
you get in trouble in Memphis, you damn sure gonna get in trouble in Miami. You can stay out till 6 a.m. in Miami every night.
There would have to be some long conversations between Ja and Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra about that. Because I know that Brian Grant told me this when he went down there. He went down, they showed him everything. Pat really wanted him there. And they were from the arena on the concourse, they have these big windows. And you can look out the windows and you can see South Beach. And they were taking a tour and they stopped and they were looking out the windows, and Pat pointed out, yeah, that's South Beach there. He goes, you won't be spending a whole lot of time there.
Hey, you want to know the wildest thing? Pat knows everything that goes on in Miami. Like, he knows stuff that goes on in Miami that you're like, yo, how did he know that? One of my guys is on Miami, and he told me this isn't my story, but my guy told me this is what happened in Miami with Eddy Curry. You remember when Eddy Curry was with Miami, and he was trying to lose weight.
Yep. Yeah, he was trying to he was on the Ike Austin program.
Exactly. And he was doing so well. He was losing a lot of weight, and all of a sudden they said Pat Riley came in one day and just went off on Eddy. He found out that Eddy had went to Taco Bell and ordered the whole menu. And we're sitting up there saying it was two things that were crazy. First of all, how was he so plugged in that he knew that Eddy Curry was at Taco Bell?
At Taco Bell, yeah.
The second part was he figured out that Eddy Curry spent $50 at Taco Bell. How do you spend $50 at Taco Bell? How you spend $50 at Taco Bell? That's unheard of.
Yeah.
So it's like Pat Riley is that plugged in that not only did he know that Eddy went to Taco Bell, he knew that how much he spent on a random night in Taco Bell. That's crazy. So Pat Riley has his finger on the pulse. He knows everything going on in Miami.
So close your eyes. Kel'el Ware, Jovic, Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero, Ja Morant, the good Ja Morant.
You can't keep all those guys and get Ja Morant. It's a distress sale. It's not a yard sale. If I'm trading Ja Morant, I'm going to need Tyler Hero, Kel'el Ware, and a couple of picks.
Ooh. I don't know if you're getting that. I don't know if you're getting that at this point.
Well, then you're not getting Ja Morant. I'll try to rehab his image in Memphis. I'm not giving him away for a ham sandwich.
Yeah, I give you that. And actually, this is with Giannis too. This is with anybody. The Luka Dončić trade has almost reset the market in a different way. Everybody's like, well, we're going to get back more than they got for Luka Dončić. So it has put teams on notice that they don't want to go through what Dallas is going through. This is the one thing I will say about Luka in LA is that he has lost the weight, right? I don't know that anything else about Luka Dončić has changed. He still dominates the ball. He still is always on the referees. He still doesn't play defense. You're getting a Luka Dončić who, hopefully, because he's in better shape, isn't going to suffer the injuries that he's had. But even now, you watch him, there's times where he's nothing's happened, and suddenly he's walking, he's jogging down the court, and he's got that old man, oh, ouch, ow, I'm aching, whatever. Other than not being overweight, I don't know that anything has necessarily changed with Luka in LA, and that concerns me a little bit.
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, him being in better shape is going to allow him to be even better when he's dominating the ball. Luka dominating the ball is never going to go away. That's the only way he knows how to play. It's kind of like LeBron James dominating the ball is the only way he knows how to play. We talked about this before. When LeBron first came to the Lakers and Magic Johnson was like, I'm going to take LeBron off the ball. I was like, Magic, have you ever seen LeBron play? That's not going to work. And Magic was my hero growing up. I love him, but I didn't understand that concept. Certain guys, you just can't take off the ball. You just got to find guys that know how to play around them. So Luka's always going to be ball dominant. He's never going to be the fastest or the quickest. The only thing defensively that you're basically saying is, hey, just don't give up on a play. Like, if you get driven by, keep hustling to get back, you might get a steal. Just don't be Houston James Harden, where, like, guys drive by you and you just be looking like this, like, where'd they go? Like, like, get back into play, help. Like, and so that's one of those things that Steph really has done a great job of. He understands help side. He understands trying his best not to get beat off the first dribble. And if he does get beat, you'll see him get back into play sometimes and get steals. He gets a lot of steals just from being in the right place at the right time. So that's what Luka has to be from a defensive standpoint. But no, a lot of the habits are still the same, but he is in shape, and he is killing, and the Lakers are winning.
Yeah. We'll end it here, but I have to ask you, because we kind of started here with LeBron.
This is going to be negative LeBron talk.
No, it's not. I just – look, it's the elephant in the room. And so I'm not going to ask you to address it directly. Can the Lakers survive with this dynamic going on? And no. Without saying specifically what the dynamic is, we both know what it is. Can this get in the way of where they want to go?
Absolutely. And we've talked about it before. Listen, LeBron is a big force. He's a big entity. If he's not happy, you're going to feel it. There's going to be some tension. There's going to be some weird moments. Truthfully, if the Lakers could be honest, it would just be better. Anyway, we wish we could just have Reeves and Luka right now. But you can't disrespect the legend because, LeBron on this Lakers team does not fit. He's not a good enough shooter on the weak side. He's not a good enough individual defender to support the fact that Austin Reeves is averaging 28. I'm going to say that again. Austin Reeves is averaging 28.
It's crazy.
It's not just he's having a better year and he's averaging 21. He's averaging 28. Luka is averaging 35. They don't need another scorer, another ball handler. They need a defensive player to do the things that they don't want to do. LeBron doesn't fit that. So the problem with the Lakers right now, LeBron simply doesn't fit there anymore because it's Luka's show. It's Luka, Austin Reeves, and JJ Redick is the basketball mind. That's it. Mm-hmm. They can spin it any way they want to. They can make it nice. They can cookie cut it. They can give you a nice message. But at the end of the day, that's where the Lakers truly are.
Yeah. Agreed. All right. Well, this is where we are. We're at the end of the show for this week.
Hey, all right.
But we got everything in, and the beauty of the way this season is going is there will be a whole new laundry list next week for us to dive into. So,
all right, now I'm gonna get out of here. But before I leave, hey, Chris Webber, the messages were all Ric Bucher. They were not from me.
Okay, I'll take it. These are broad shoulders. I can take it. All right, B. See you next week.
All right.